12, UCLA has been in the last 3 national finals, winning 2 out of 3 of those in 23 and 24. USC will be in their home Cardinal and gold, UCLA in their visiting blue uniforms. UCLA has really played a tough schedule. They played Long Beach State twice. They were trailing 2-0 at the Pyramid in Long Beach, came back in a reverse sweep, and then won at home 3-1. Also beat most recently UC Irvine. The only blemish on USC side, they split with UC Irvine, an outstanding team. And going back to serve, we'll start things off. Sterling Foley, 6'6" sophomore out of Newport Beach, an honorable mention All-American last year, as well as all in the all-freshman team. For the MPSF, Mount Pacific Sports Federation, which you know well, having played superbly at BYU so many years ago. Errant pass to start things off. Good swing to get UCLA ahead in the point. Out of system and quickly out of the middle. Nicely done by Wong Diallo, 6'9" junior out of Los Angeles.
Yeah, credit that out of system set on the side of the Bruins for giving them a good, healthy swing on a tough pass.
Yeah, that was David Decker out on the right side, the left-hander, 6'9" redshirt junior out of North Carolina. UCLA looked like they were in trouble, but here's Decker at the service line. Another pretty good transition stat and chopping line, nicely done. Number 12, Sean Kelly, 6'9", 6'7", 6'9", 6'10". There are some trees out here for USC and UCLA.
Yeah, have a look at where he goes against this 3-man block. Goes over the smaller wing blocker. That is a great swing.
Kelly averaging 3.4 kills per set, hitting almost 400. Nicely done out of the middle. That is our first look out of Tompkinson. Parker Tompkinson, 7 feet, sophomore middle blocker out of Carlsbad in northern San Diego County.
Just your old average 7-foot sophomore.
Well, and the other middle blocker for USC is much, much smaller at 6'11", mind you. High flying once again, offense through the roof for both of these teams. That is Sean Kelly again.
Yeah, that was, they're just taking a little bit of advantage of Blanchette out there on the pin right now. He just kind of tapped that down over the top, did Kelly.
UCLA number 1 in the nation in hitting efficiency at .405. Hawaii is number 2. Ball State comes in at number 3. Excellent serve reception out of the back row. That is Sterling Foley, who was dug, but that is a 3-meter line violation. You got to take off from behind the line. There is John Hawks in his second year, 22-7 last year. As I mentioned, lost to Long Beach State 3-0 in the championship, but UCLA stands alone in terms of history, 21-time national champions.
And if you're wondering why that number in the loss column is still the same as the one last year, it's because they haven't lost yet this year.
Dylan Klein flying high, wearing number 1 in Cardinal, 6'6" senior out of nearby Pacific Palisades, a 3-time, soon to be 4-time All-American.
We promised some eye-popping athleticism, and there you go, right up over the top of that big UCLA block.
Hitting .418 as an outside hitter so far. That is a crazy number. I'll ask you about that when really good passing right now by both teams. Swing over the top, beautifully done by Noah Roberts. What does it mean for an oppo or an outside hitter to be hitting over 400 at this level?
I mean, it's astounding, especially when you're the go-to guy. Everyone on UCLA's side knows the ball's going to Dylan Klein, and for him to still put up those kind of numbers is just remarkable.
Working on Rama, nicely passed. Good block deflection and slow down. Coming quickly to Klein. Ripping inside the 3-meter line. Fantastic angle going 4-4. There is Jeff Nygaard now in his 11th year. He wouldn't quite, on our long and very interesting phone call, agree with me, but I think this is the best team he's had in just over a decade as the head coach now for USC. And we should remember Jeff Nygaard, one of the all-time, and I use this word very guardedly because I never say great. Not never, but very rarely, but truly one of the great Bruins of all time.
Yeah, absolutely. What he did say, Paul, was that this is his deepest team.
Yeah, but I think it's his best team. We'll see as the season goes along. Working on Rama, and he's been passing the ball exceptionally well. And there for the tap down, Zach Rama, 6'8", senior out of Phoenix, Arizona, an All-American last year, 4.3 kills per set, and he too is hitting over 400.
Yeah, that's Phenomenal stuff from outside hitters.
There's Micah Wong Diallo. Float serve easily handled. Good block deflection one-on-one, but Andrew Rowan knew it right away. He had committed the net violation. Rowan, wearing number 7 out of Trabuco Canyon, 2-time first-team All-American, champion in 2023 and 2024, and he can join that very short list of Bruins who've won 3 national championships during their 4 years of competition in Westwood.
Yeah, and I think, with respect to those that came before them, doing it in this day and age with the amount of parity that there is in the sport is even more impressive in a way.
Rich, I agree with you because, I mean, Ohio State has won a couple of championships. Penn State has come along as well and become a real force. Lewis out of the Midwest as well. Loyola Chicago, thank you for that. Loyola Chicago producing a couple of Olympians.
BYU.
We can never forget. You won't let me forget the Cougars.
Try as you might, Paul, I will not let you forget.
These two teams have met for the national championship on 4 occasions. 1979, it was UCLA. 1980, it was USC. 81, the Bruins. 87, the Bruins. There is Wesley Smith, middle blocker out of Encinitas, all freshman team last year. Played in 20 matches for Jeff Nygaard and the Trojans. Easy serve. Oh, good block. 3 blockers up on the back row combination. Very nice set in transition. I say that too soon. That was way too tight to the net, even for Noah Roberts to go up and get it. Came out pretty well. I mean, Wesley Smith put a pretty nice hand on that ball, but it was way too tight to the net.
Yeah, that's a nice look at the triple block there on the pipe against Kelly. Good read work by the Trojans.
USC receiving with 4. That ball set too tight as well. You need to give some players some distance, particularly against this block. And that's an unforced error by Rama on the pipe.
Coach Hawks talked to us a little bit about that, didn't he, in our call with him. Sometimes they can struggle with location at the setter position. That's maybe Rowan's only weakness at times. That one was a little bit low for the high-flying Rama.
Really good pass by the libero Connolly, the transfer out of Long Beach State. And Kelly off to a quick start out of Manhattan Beach, 24 matches last year, hit .323, and much stronger and more physical so far in this another year under John Hawks.
Yeah, and there's a look at Coach Hawks. I mean, when you got a guy that's hitting the ball above 11 feet, you got to get him up there.
There is Cam Thorne, 6'4", out of Hollywood, Florida, transfer from Grand Canyon. And you'll see a very dynamic middle attacker. He's only hitting .581 so far on the season. He just doesn't have enough attempts to be in the top 5 or 6 in NCAA statistical volleyball.
And with the speed of the game, you're seeing kind of smaller, more athletic middles out there. They've got to cover so much ground so quickly.
Oh, good blocking so far for the Trojans.
4 contacts, yeah.
That is 4 contacts, and very nicely done. Good job on the outside by the setter, Caleb Blanchette, 6'5" junior out of Brentwood, Tennessee.
Well, and it's really a nice adjustment because the first couple rotations, Kelly against Blanchette, Kelly was just kind of going over the top, so Blanchette does a little show and take, taking away that line, getting the stuff.
Overpass, chance for USC to add to their lead. Flying Connolly getting after that tip. I'll tell you, I thought that was a really good decision by Dylan Klein against 3 blockers, and it still wasn't good enough to get it away from Connolly.
Yeah, that's just good awareness there from Connolly. When the triple block's up, that is your responsibility as the position 5 libero. You got to get in there and make sure no tips go down, and he did it with a little flair even.
You were all over that in 2008.
I was already standing there, Paul. I don't have the mobility that Connolly did.
Which means, are you saying you read the game better than he does?
No, I was saying I had to make up for my inefficiencies.
There you go. Well, we got to have a conversation. I mean, from how the game has changed from my generation, my gosh, I played in the Paleolithic age, but you won a gold medal in 2008. But how much different is the game today? Take you back to days at BYU to compare, sort of one level of play to the same.
Well, I mean, certainly from the BYU days, it's massively different. We didn't see a lot of guys doing that. UCLA's just constantly doing it. The pin's going over the top. Dylan Klein's doing it. I mean, the athleticism in the game is so astounding these days.
Well, take us inside Connolly along with Dykstra at the libero position, which you played when you won a gold medal in Beijing. How much different is it in terms of receiving pressure, service pressure at this level now in college volleyball?
Well, the approach to serving, I think, has changed a lot, not only in college volleyball, but internationally, where it's such a weapon, you're sort of abiding a few more errors. You know, we had the edict on our 08 team that you had to make 6 out of 7. I think that's kind of gone by the wayside. Yeah,
you know, it's in the trash bin of history.
You can see, you know, from some of the U.S. team's results at the Olympics that sometimes that can come back and bite them. But that serve is such a weapon now that everyone's just gunning from the end line.
Decker again off the right side, the big left-hander, 6'9", again out of North Carolina. 15 matches last year. He was part of the championship team in 2024. Here's Wang Diallo. 12-11, Trojans leading it. They've had a couple of opportunities, and that's missed by Dykstra. Johnny Dykstra, 6'2" sophomore out of Manhattan Beach, playing at the libero.
Yeah, that serve from Wang Diallo's kind of like a Dave Lee, Ryan Millar floater going from 5 to 5. That's one of the most difficult serves to receive, especially if you're Dykstra. You got to move away from your target the whole way.
Dykstra again, and nicely done. High throw down. That was pretty close by Wes Smith.
Wes Smith, yeah, I mean, you know, you'd be hard-pressed to see where he's lifting this ball. He's on top of it the whole way. It does look a little interesting, but the kid's huge, and he's up big, throwing it down.
I thought that was fine. Yeah. That was a good aggressive offensive play. Dylan Klein with the ace working on Connolly.
Yeah, got the little touch, just, you know, it's understandable to be indecisive momentarily when the ball's coming at you that quickly.
For our younger audience, we have to remind people who David Lee and Ryan Millar are, the two starting middle blockers on your Olympic championship team.
Yeah, correct.
Both two of the best of all time ever for the United States at their position.
Yeah, kind of started that quote-unquote smaller, more mobile middle. Both guys only, I say, 6'7".
Well, I'm thinking of David Smith. Played in 4 Olympic games at 6'6" maybe, and still playing at a very high level professionally, well into his late 30s in Poland. Good reception, and smartly off the block and out of bounds once again by Smith. We have come to our media timeout, and as we expected, a battle for Los Angeles between USC and UCLA. Opening set at the Galen Center. Back with more right after this on the Big Ten Network. UCLA on top 15-13, and USC statistically one of the top defensive teams so far this season in the country, and they're showing that early against UCLA, holding the Bruins to only 222. I can quickly do the math. That's almost 200 points below their season average. Zach Arama back at the line. Not had a good season so far at the service line. 3 aces against 29 errors. That's pretty good pressure. Timing not there on the combination, and that ball missed out of bounds by Cam Thorne. No touch detected.
Yeah, that's a big missed opportunity.
Yep.
As you mentioned, really good serve from Rama there, getting it all the way to zone 1. And you've got to put those easy free ball scoring chances down.
Tied again. Rowan goes up to get that. Pretty good size setter is Andrew Rowan at 6'6". Nice read by Connolly. Back row combination where they're setting that ball so close to the net.
Yeah, they really are. And, you know, I mean, we talked about the missed opportunity on the last play by the Bruins. This is a big missed opportunity by the Trojans there. Let's kind of keep an eye on that as this match progresses, because you've got to capitalize on those scoring opportunities to win tight matches like this.
Third kill in the opening set for Rama. Perfect pass. Good blocking by the Trojans. They are huge up front in the middle. That's a poor set. Over the top of the block. A poor set by Cam Thorne. And Sean Kelly just says, I do not care, going OTT.
Yeah, that is great footwork by Kelly to get close to the net, go straight up. That's a nice move. Blanchette on the first try, but look at that. Everyone else stays down. That's not good. Your middle blocker's got to be leading that and kind of vocalizing that everyone's up or everyone's down.
It's becoming a lot more common, particularly in the international game, which you do a lot of. The challenge system is so good internationally, mind you, that a lot of blockers are pulling their hands down to avoid that tool off the high flat. There is Foley to serve for the Trojans. Dug by Dykstra. Decker is slowed. Klein on the outside again. Falling backwards. Fall back, baby.
That's the old MJ fall-away jumper right there from Klein. That is impressive.
I was thinking of Dick Barnett, but that's a few decades before your time.
the classic Dick Barnett fall-away jumper.
Dylan Klein, a three-time All-American last year, just under 4 kills per set, better this year at 4.3, and for a higher average. And Diallo having to go after that. Klein. Rama on the second contact. A little bit out of system, and back to Rama again. A lot of pipe setting. Dylan Klein again.
Let's highlight the difference there, though. That final set that Klein just put away gets him close to the net so he can go up and elevate and really carve off those angles. There's been a few too many that keep him closer to the 3-meter line that don't allow him to kind of impose his will.
Dylan Klein, 4 kills on 8 attempts, and as we expected, leading the way. Their offensive leader, and also emotionally a tremendous leader for this Trojan team, on top of USC, on top of UCLA.
About the 1.5-foot line inside a big double block.
Boy, service winner, service ace for Sterling Foley.
I feel like so many times in matchups like this, you know, we highlight the marquee players, the Klein and the Rama, but it's the ancillary guys, the role players that factor in big.
Well, it's a team game. I mean, this is the ultimate team sport. If you have a weakness, somebody will find it. What a reaction that time by Klein off the block deflection. Oh. And 3 monstrous Blue Bruins.
I think that was one of those close your eyes and try and pay it off moments, because that block in turn was tremendous from Klein, but maybe a little bit ill-advised.
Well, when you're up 4, you might as well go for the gusto. Just a tremendously well-formed block by UCLA.
Perfect 3-man execution.
Here is Decker, and missed that out of bounds. Serving numbers, that is error number 5 for UCLA against 1 ace. 2 aces for USC against 3 errors. Always that fine line.
Yeah, that's kind of our conversation. If you're giving them, 25% of the points to your opponents, that's not going to be a good recipe for success.
Tompkinson with the jump floater, number 8 in Cardinal, missed that ball out of bounds. 7-foot middle blocker out of Carlsbad. I guess you have to be 6'11" or 7 feet, and from North County in San Diego to start for the Trojans. They have 4 really good middle blockers. As you pointed out, very, very deep team for Jeff Nygaard. Working on Klein. Boy, that ball was very tight to the net, but he has got a rocket firm. When we were talking about Dylan Klein, we compared him, and I think we both agreed to Reed Priddy as one of the best American players of all time. Do you see a comparison?
I do see a comparison. There's some differences. Reed was a little bit more of a broad jumper. He could certainly elevate. I think Klein is at his best when he's close to the net like he was there. He can kind of work off the block.
Reed Priddy played his college volleyball at Loyola Marymount. On the national team, he won a gold medal in 2008 and a bronze medal in 2016. The United States team finished 4th that he was on in 2004.
And 5th in 2012.
I left that one alone. I was there.
It still hurts, yeah. Thank you, I appreciate the deference.
Held on to that and pushed it smartly off the block. I'll tell you what, I love that call. I love that call. I think as long as the first referee, Bert Fuller, is consistent with that, what do you think here?
Well, they're going to call a lift. I'll tell you why this is a good call and it's consistent with international, because that's a reviewable play, and without a doubt, Klein's hand is on that ball last to make it go out wide of the court.
And also, they did call a lift, yes, but he held onto it, still holding onto it, changed direction. I like that call. I just want it to be consistent, because that particular play, and I'm not criticizing Klein for trying it, but it just gives the offense too much of an advantage.
Yeah, I agree. It's been trained into hitters to do that, get the contact and wipe it. It's going to have to be retrained. Look at that serve.
Another three-point advantage. USC clearly winning the serve and pass battle right now. That ball tight to the net and chopped over the top of the block. I'll tell you, consistently making that mistake, but there was a touch off the block. What a good play by Noah Roberts.
That was a tremendous play. You saw him kind of scurry his feet so he could get up high, and watch him hit this up through the hands. I mean, that is just fantastic awareness and execution from Roberts.
14 kills against UC Irvine, and that is set point number 1, and that comes up well short for Klein, but still good margin for error. Now 3 more set points for the 5th-ranked Trojans over the number 1 ranked and undefeated Bruins of UCLA.
That was like when you have a straight draw, a flush draw, you know, you have too many options and they never hit in poker. I think Dylan Klein has so many tricks in his bag, he was trying to show off the whole thing.
Yeah, I know all about my numbers not coming up, particularly when there's money on the line. Want to remind everybody right now, get 3 months of Big Ten. UC Santa Barbara, very tough against Irvine. They were down 2 sets to Long Beach State. Ball State was playing really, really well at the beginning of the season, won the first set against UCLA, and here they stand at 14-0, USC at 8-1. Rowan is really a good server, really good, elite. Block out of the middle by Smith. What? You can't teach 7 feet or 6'11". Really good start for the USC Trojans.
I mean, that kid looks like he was built in a lab somewhere.
You should talk. A really good start at home for USC. They won the match last year here at the Galen Center before UCLA won it crosstown. As advertised, Dylan Klein leading the way with 5 kills. Opening set goes to the Trojans. Match was in 2012. Last NCAA tournament for the Trojans was in 2019. That's a good serving start. Number 19, David Decker. Excuse me, that was Sean Kelly dialing up that winner off of Dykstra.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, because Dykstra actually came up with a little hip pocket magic there.
Hip pocket magic.
Overset it.
Is that like side pocket as well?
Side pocket,
off the combination off the 8 ball. Pretty nice pass there. The serving is so tough that when you have a set just sort of up in the zone, that's a pretty good job fighting off this heat.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's kind of the mentality as receivers, right? When you know the heat's coming at you, you just want to keep it on your side and elevate it a little bit so your setter can go to work.
There is Tompkinson back to serve, coming with a jump floater. Boy, that looks so easy compared to some of the things we're seeing. Wong Diallo, another good block deflection. Roberts off the top of the block and down, number 2 in Cardinal.
Yeah, I would agree with you going back to the serve of Tompkinson. I mean, he's 7 feet tall, but he kind of tosses it low and hits it with an upward trajectory almost. Just a nice look at it, what you've been talking about a lot, and that's the block touches of the Trojans.
Tip off the edge of the block by number 21 in blue, Rama.
Yeah, he's got to heat it up a little bit for UCLA. We haven't said his name as much as I'm sure they would like in the match thus far.
Well, UCLA, when you look at their numbers offensively, they hit 176. All credit to the Trojans for their block defense and starting with service pressure. And that's what UCLA, that's one of their major strengths, is right around the dial. They just serve the heck out of the ball. Dylan Klein, one-on-one. That's a win 99% of the time.
We have said his name plenty, and he is lighting it up for USC.
Already with half a dozen kills. number 8 in the nation coming into this week's action in terms of hitting efficiency at 418 as an outside. Kind of unheard of numbers. To Rama. Back row combination, really good blocking. What a read that time by 16 Wesley Smith.
Now, he gave us the full array of celebrations, the bicep flex, the Superman open the shirt and show the S on your chest. I mean, he's doing it all up front.
Rama. Over the top is Doug. Well, that is a good swing out of the back row, and that'll score it. A net violation. They called that on Cam Thorne, and he's saying no. I did not touch the net. Men's college volleyball, you get 3 challenges to start the match, and as long as you are correct, you keep all 3. And we'll have our first challenge. Cam Thorne, 6'4", senior middle blocker out of Florida, immediately says, Coach Hawks, I did not touch that. So we will take a look. If we play 5 sets, each team will get an additional challenge.
There was no net.
You get an additional challenge, but you can never have more than 3. 3-0 run here for USC. That was a really good swing out of the back row on a broken play for the Trojans.
Ooh, yeah, I wonder if the foot got it, and maybe he's a little unaware because you could see the net jump just a touch. No SC Trojan.
I know the ball hit the top of the tape. Let's take another look here.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
No, there's no net there.
Okay, good. It's always nice to see a player vindicated, especially when they vehemently tell their coach that they didn't touch the net. But I love the aggression on that swing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from Foley. It just forces a blocker to get up there. It induces mistakes at times. Not in this instance. We'll end up replaying that point most likely.
USC, interesting. I was talking to Jeff Nygaard, and you were on the call as well. They haven't played since the 13th.
Yeah.
That is a long break, but I'll tell you what. He said, we're going to make do with what it is. Yeah. And there's been no rust whatsoever on the side of the Trojans.
Yeah, I was going to mention that when you were talking about the difficulty of the schedule that the Bruins have faced. You know, you would think that kind of, sharpens you a little bit, and when you've had the long layoff like the Trojans have, you never know what you're going to get coming out for the first time in a little while.
Yeah, UCLA played as recently as February 27th, a 3-2 win over Irvine. They've also had a really tough contest against Santa Barbara, as we talked about, and then beat Long Beach State on 2 occasions, 5-setter at the Pyramid and then 3-1 at Pauley Pavilion. Steel sharpens steel.
Steel sharpens steel, yeah. Iron sharpens iron. I guess all metals that are alike sharpen one another.
After review, the call will be reversed. Replay.
Yep, no net violation. That's good work by the officials. Love the challenge system, and it just keeps getting better and better. Internationally, it's flawless.
Yeah.
And it's Derwin Jordan, the second referee. Wes Smith, 6'11" junior out of northern San Diego County.
Tell me if you think this is a good comparison. 16 there that you're seeing on your screen. Wesley Smith looks a little bit like Dmitry Muserski.
Yeah, except Muserski was 7'3".
7'4", yeah.
and still playing in Japan. Yeah. Most valuable player of the London Olympic Games.
In the yeah, and switching to opposite for the gold medal match, no less.
During the gold medal match, Cam Thorne. He's been very quiet so far, averages just over 2 kills per set, hitting .581, which means out of every 2 sets he gets, he scores on 1 of them. A little bit more statistically, if you will. First kill. Here's Rowan. 24 aces so far on the year. Dylan Klein, as advertised.
That angle that he creates is so devastating because as a middle, you're just scrambling to close this block, and then he just blows it right by your left hand.
I'll tell you, so far in the setting battle, I mean, we're going to have a good one all night long. Andrew Rowan, first team All-American the last couple of years, but Caleb Blanchette, 6'5" junior out of Tennessee, honorable mention All-American last year. Really been moving the ball. His location is very good. He's number 9 in cardinal and gold for the Trojans. Just underway, second set. And that ball's missed out of bounds by Rama. The serve, not quite there. Still very much a work in progress for Zach Rama out of Phoenix, Arizona. 3 aces. Now that's 30 errors plus on the year.
Yeah, Coach Hawks mentioned that that's kind of an X factor for him, right? Moving to the next level. It's something he's working hard on, something he's got to try and figure out a little bit.
There's Cam Thorne. Undersized and super quick.
Yeah, and that's now a couple in succession there. Just saw his first kill a couple moments ago. And that's one of the things Coach Hawks talked to us about as well, is Rowan's sort of feel for the game, feeding the hot hand, as it were. And number 1 in blue might be the hot hand right now for UCLA.
That ball off the edge of the block and out of bounds. And we talk a lot of in the fall. We talk about a handful of players on the women's side that might be candidates for Eric Sullivan's Olympic team in 2028. Mimi Collier now has moved on to the professional ranks from Wisconsin. Andy Jackson at Nebraska. Olivia Babcock at Pittsburgh is a National Player of the Year 2 times in a row. But there have got to be some players on the men's side. Dylan Klein, I'm referring to, that may get a very good look by one Karch Kirai. That ball missed just out of bounds, a rare mistake offensively by Roberts and USC. Coach Kirai left me a voicemail from Tokyo, Japan earlier this evening. I will listen to that on my way home. He's over there visiting with Matt Anderson and TJ DeFalco, among others, who are Cooper Robinson, who played for UCLA last year, is also playing in Japan.
This, yeah, just a mid-game flex by you. Your list of friends runs deep into the Karch Kirais of the world.
Well, I've been around a long time.
Back serve from 19, Decker.
Opposite, David Decker back to serve. You're just joining us. USC won the opening set 25-21 and outplayed the Bruins. That's too tight. Setters are way too good at the joust because they get so much practice. Combination, moving the ball around. A little bit different zone attack that time out of the back row for Zach Rama.
I'm not sure what the Bruins are calling this one. It's kind of a back bick there, just off the back shoulder of Rowan there. Nicely delivered.
Decker again unloading, missed that out of bounds. High risk, high reward at the service line in men's volleyball. High school, college, and in the professional and international ranks as well.
Yeah, we talk about how that mentality has changed in the game. That's such a weapon, because I hearken back to the days of listening to you and Chris Marlowe talking about the 7 cardinal sins of serving.
Forget about that. Those are no longer sins.
On by the
That's
wayside.
been torn up and burned, thrown in the trash can a long time ago.
Yeah, George Carlin's 7 words you can't say on television, and Chris Marlowe and Paul Sunderland's 7 cardinal sins of serving.
First kill by Kelly since the opening set at 16 all. He is a very important cog for the Bruins. Perfect pass by Klein. Oh, what a block. Wong Diallo, number 8 in blue, really reached into the cross court.
And I like that a lot. You see that there was a little bit of space in that block, but he just got over big where he was. Yeah, good job, big fella. That was kind of the edict our middles had, was if you're late, get your hands over where you're at.
UCLA averaging 2.3 blocks per set, way below that average. USC once again winning the serve reception battle, and the kill by Tompkinson out of the middle. Really impressed by Caleb Blanchette so far at the setting position for the Trojans.
I like that he fed his big middle after UCLA stopped him the previous attempt.
Ace serve right into the seam. Jump floater works sometimes, and that in between Connolly and Rama.
Yeah, it does. You can see Rama just kind of jump out early. You like your libero to take a lot of balls if he can, but that ball that's trailing away from him, you've got to communicate pretty precisely.
Third ace for the Trojans. Back to Rama, pretty well received. Decker out of the back row. Heavy heat What defense that time by Roberts of the Trojans. Oh, that's a smart shot. Rama just rising and hanging, and then deep into area 5 in the cross court.
That's one of those sort of Murphy's laws of volleyball, Paul, where anytime a middle blocker is in the back row, there's going to be action in the position 5 on defense. The libero picks that up no problem.
You're throwing your old teammates under the bus. Roberts out of the back row, missed the block, and just over the end line. Good high, hard swing, but just run out of real estate. Starting to tighten up a little bit in terms of efficiency. UCLA hitting 244, USC now at 262. Both well below their season averages. Good pass by Dykstra. You know, when you're 6'11" or 7 feet tall, you get up into the soft part of the block.
Absolutely. It's incumbent upon the setter to feed him up high enough. And right now, like you mentioned, Blanchette doing a nice job of that for USC.
Wes Smith with the kill, his 4th. 2 kills per set, hitting .524. Perfect 4 for 4 so far. Really smart shot. Andrew Rowan, how smart is that?
It's a phenomenal shot. It is, again, going back to that conversation about international challenges, that 100% goes against UCLA on a challenge internationally anymore.
Because he pushed it into the block, and then it was his impetus and last touch out of bounds. John Sparrow, former UCLA coach and coach of the USA men's team, was the first coach internationally that really sussed that out, that it was really the attacker that touched it last.
I mean, it's the most simple thing if you think about it. It can't go that way if I'm static with my hands and you're throwing, your arm's moving that way, right?
But for a long, long time, the attacker, the attacker always got the benefit of the doubt on that play.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really nice run from the Bruins. Way to get that side out.
Rama back to serve. 13-12 is the advantage. Boy, that ball tossed way into the court. Ball set tight. Kelly having to go off speed. Good block deflection chance here. Give some room to swing. Decker! David Decker at 6'9" over the top of the block.
Now he pounds that seam in the block for the kill. If I'm being hypercritical, I'd like a little bit better free ball pass, though, from Rama. Those easy opportunities, you got to get those inside the 3-meter line. Let your setter have all the options.
Well, Decker and Kelly got to pick it up offensively. They are really important contributors to balance things out with Rama and the rest of the offense.
USC is challenging a defensive net.
Okay. And in college volleyball, you can go back and look at the entire play. The net could have occurred anywhere during the course of that point. Internationally, you can only challenge the final play, or you press the buzzer and stop play, and that's pretty high risk.
That is very high risk. I wonder if, can I do an open-ended challenge where I just leave it open to you to find anything that you can find throughout the course of a rally? Yeah, there looks like there was no net contact there.
Nothing so far, but they'll go back and take a look at the entirety of this point. Sean Kelly, I mentioned, needed to pick it up. Well, he certainly has done that. 6 of 13, no errors. So excuse me, Sean. David Deckard is the one. He's only 2 of 12. Ooh, that's close. Boy, that's good work by our crew. A little brush of the net that time by number 1.
Yeah, it's tough.
A lot going on there. The net is moving, but did he make contact? And it has to be 100% conclusive to overturn the call.
Yeah, obviously that wasn't the view. This is the better look at it. Yeah, I mean,
foot is legal. He's on the line, so that's okay. That's close.
Yeah, I think you made the key comment, Paul, and it's got to be conclusive evidence. I don't know that there's...
Yeah, I think he's okay.
I don't think there's conclusive evidence.
John Hawks looking over to see if we'll give it away. Two outstanding coaches, John Hawks in his second year. Here's the
After
announcement
review,
of the
the
call.
call is confirmed. Point to UCLA. USC will lose its challenge.
So USC has 2 challenges remaining. So as we thought, not conclusive. There was no, and there might well have been no net violation. So the Bruins on top now 14-12 after USC took the opening set 25-21 and really held UCLA down offensively. But the Bruins have come back hitting 533 in the second set. Dykstra fought that off. Out of the back row to Rama, dug by Dykstra. And Klein. I won't even call that an unforced error. That's an error of aggression, and Klein just missed that one out of the back row, and we will take our media timeout. Real battle between the Trojans and the Bruins. UCLA undefeated, trying to protect their 14-0 and make it a 15-0 record. Rich Lamborn, I'm Paul Sunderland. Thanks for joining us. Number 1 UCLA. Yeah, look at the difference between the first and the second set. How have they moved to that kind of number in the second set, speaking of the Bruins?
Well, I think they're locating the ball a little bit better from Rowan. They're getting Rama heated up a little bit. They're getting their middles a little bit more active as well. So anytime you can kind of spread the offense out, that's critical against a blocking defense as solid as USC has.
Wes Smith, who's been very impressive, bookend huge middle blockers for USC. Working consistently on Rama. David Decker and Wes Smith hanging in and defending his spot very nicely, but paying the price.
It says USC 16 on his chest. Underneath it might say Molten a little bit after this swing.
Well, if you're not getting hit, you're not standing in the right spot.
I love it. I mean, he does everything right there. Just stand in and take it.
You mentioned Rama starting to heat it up. 3 kills on 4 swings so far in the second set. Good reaction by USC. Roberts is slowed. And Roberts off the right side. That was number 12, Sterling Foley, with a block deflection on the outside, giving the ball back to the Trojans.
Nice blocking that time from the Bruins, forcing the Trojans a little bit into second and third swings to try and get that side out.
Just doing a little maintenance. There is Noah Roberts. Let's get Dylan Klein, 8 of 17. Very, very good. Maybe up to 20 in the opening set, but UCLA has done a nice job on the 3-time All-American. Roberts, 6 of 14. Wes Smith, 4 of 5. Tompkinson, 3 of 6. USC on the match, hitting 240. Cooled off significantly. Off the edge of the block and out of bounds. Big swing that time by Decker.
Yeah, Foley was trying to go with the split block and close that line down, but just couldn't quite get the left-handed front all the way.
And UCLA much improved in reception so far in this second set. Turn things around at the offensive end. Here's Decker, and missed that. That is service error number 11 for UCLA against 1 ace.
Not surprising to me, Paul, that when you shore up your service reception a little bit, your offensive numbers pick up alongside it.
Well, no question. It's still all about serve and receive. Not all, but mind you, it's a specifically important number. That's a very doable pass, but Diallo missed it out of bounds.
I think that was a good connection. That's just, you know, operator error, unfortunately. He was up big, took a good swing, just not quite all the way on top of that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. Good choice, pretty medium reception, good aggressive set into the middle by Rowan, and just missed out of bounds by Wong Diallo, but USC will take it. They're back within 1. Really good diving pass. Dykstra's been good at the libero for USC. And Klein pushing the ball off the block and out of bounds. Very, very smart play, but I'll tell you, fine line between one earlier that was called and this one.
Here's a look at that pass. I mean, yeah, just a little one-arm scoopy. My man T. Krabs would have liked that one on the beach.
Here is Foley back to serve. 3-0 run for USA. Make it 4.
Yeah, that's
USC now with the momentum, and timeout called by the Bruins.
Finding that gap between the opposite stepping in to help pass is a great location with your serve. Such a broad impact, it seems, on so many lives in such a short period of time.
Coming out of the timeout, trying to add to the run. We were tied at 16 in the opening set. USC went on a 4-0 run, and now here on a 4-0 run at 17-14, them trailing. Look at that pass. Rowan having to go up and push and shove on the joust, and again.
The rarely seen ball off the face of Tompkinson, and then he played it down low, so that is correctly called a double contact.
Was he not trying to block with his face?
Well, I think the block happened, and then it goes into
right
his
you are.
face. Yeah,
Right you are. Yep. And you saw immediately Sean Kelly pointing out a double contact. That's good officiating.
And you mentioned how good setters are at that joust play. Happens so often on those passes, you know. They get up near the net, Rowan just surrounding that ball and giving it a shove.
It being explained to the Trojan captain, Dylan Klein. You made the point before first serve. The leadership by both of these absolute star outside hitters, Zach Rama and Dylan Klein, for USC and UCLA respectively. And we asked Jeff Nygaard about his All-American senior, and he said, look, he probably can end up doing whatever he wants, whether it's investment banking or managing a hedge fund or whatever. I said, we're talking about volleyball here. Don't you think in the near term, don't you think he's going to play a little volleyball? Maybe for the United States in 2028?
Yeah, we hope he goes that route. Investment banking will be there.
It'll always be there.
That's right.
And what a family he comes from. His grandfather, Bob Klein, All-American tight end and national champion here at USC, played for the Rams and the Chargers. His father, Jimmy Klein, starting volleyball player and quarterback at Stanford. His aunt, Kristen Klein, played in the Olympic Games in volleyball. His uncle, Adam Keefe, played at Stanford, an All-American there, and played in the NBA for 11 seasons. But other than that, no bloodlines.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was the Klein that he came from. That is a tremendous legacy. Yeah, replay is called. This is interesting because it looked pretty clearly correctly officiated. So
I agree
we're
with
going
you.
to get the defense is rested, and now the prosecution's back up on the UCLA Bruins side.
Well, just to review, the Trojans went up with Andrew Rowan in the joust. It went off the block and then off the face of Parker Tompkinson, and not off his hand. Watch number 8. Okay, he's participating in the block, but now his hands are at his sides.
Right. His face is above the net. I wonder if
like I said, rhetorical. I was kidding, but you know, was he blocking it with his face? That's immediately tucked down inside by 19. Decker starting to really heat things up offensively. David Deckard now 5 kills on 15 swings.
And for all you volleyball karma people, the word is correct. Now that ball's put away by the Bruins.
Well, we used to say there is a Buddha. Here's Kelly. Nice block by Wandiello. 1-on-1.
He's doing such a nice job of going up once the set is made. He's not kind of over-committing. He's tall, he's long. He can throw those hands quickly, and it's paying off. That's a few he's gotten in that exact fashion now.
Bruins now with a 1-point advantage. They dropped the opening set 25-21. Tied in the opening set at 16 before USC went on a 3-0 run. Look at Klein pass the ball. I know that's a medium pass, but that serve was a rocket. Super smart shot by number 1.
Yeah, really good, and his ability to push that with some downward trajectory over the top of the block makes that an even better shot, and ultimately results in a kill. 10
kills now for Klein on 19 swings. got 5 errors. And in volleyball statistics, an error, ball either blocked on your side for a point or hit out of bounds. You got to find another way. I just don't like that stat because it gives the block no credit whatsoever. Really good swing. David Decker heating it up here in the second set. Trent Taliaferro coming on, 6'5" sophomore out of San Clemente.
And that is wild. His dad, of course, played at UCLA.
Brandon Taliaferro.
Taliaferro.
The assist leader all time for the Bruins.
And Trent has the exact, and I'm talking exact same legs as his dad. I mean, shape, everything. It's unbelievable.
Working on Klein. Out of system here. That's a poor set. That's better. Some room to swing, but Rama whiffed it out of bounds.
Rama lets USC off the hook there. That's just a bad miss from a great player in Johnny Dykstra, trying to get that ball ultra close to the net.
Taliaferro did his job. He created a free ball opportunity. Unfortunately, Rowan made first contact.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest gigs in volleyball too, the sub.
Well, especially when you're expected to come in and hit it at 60 or 70K.
Yeah.
Rama making it look easy off the left side. Bruins lead at 21-20. These two teams split the 2 meetings last year. That ended a 10-match winning streak for UCLA. 12 ties, 6 lead changes in this second set. Back row combination. Dug nicely by Connolly. Very hittable ball. Smart shot. Really smart shot again by Klein off the edge. How do you teach that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you throw balls up there.
I'm asking a libero how you teach that.
I mean, he benefits, and that's the reason you want to put the ball close to the net for Klein, because if the block's not there, he can annihilate it. If it is there, he's done that already a couple times in this set.
11 kills now for Klein. That ball just missed off the top of the tape. Klein followed by Rama. We featured them before. First serve. UCLA and USC both have a lot of weapons. Good pokey that time in the back court, and a chance off the edge of the block by 12 Keller. That is really a smart swing. Impressive play by Noah Roberts off the right side for his 7th kill.
Yeah, don't forget the dig from Blanchette to keep that ball alive. That was a really good rundown. There you go, a little scoopy. And just a smart swing. Go up into the high, softer part of the block.
Andrew Chapin on to serve now for the Trojans. Working on Kelly down the line. There's the hot hand. No question about that. David Decker, a little bit slow to start things off, but if numbers are correct, I think he's 5 of 6 in this set. Really good by Decker.
Yeah, I'm curious if SC has him being more of a line hitter, because they seem to be closing that pin down against the lefty on the right side there, and he is just working that hard cross court.
6'10" freshman Grayson Bradford out of Manhattan Beach. ABCA National High School Player of the Year on to serve. Huge serve off the bench cold. And tucked down inside. Diallo couldn't quite get there, so he was one-on-one against Decker. Tied at 23.
Yeah, that was a bit of good fortune for the Trojans there, just sneaking that underneath the big block of Decker. Yeah, that was a phenomenal serve from Bradford.
Kelly off the left side. Dykstra was there. I'd like to have that one back.
That was kind of a shoestring dig attempt. Just really good trajectory on that.
Back serve number 19, David Decker.
Kelly elevating.
Set point number 1 for UCLA to even this match at 1 apiece.
by the Trojans.
Timeout called by USC. They're going to talk about this serve reception. UCLA at 14-0, ranked number 1 in the ABCA coaches poll all season long. USC currently at number 5. Their only blemish was to outstanding team from UC Irvine. David Decker, 6'9", redshirt junior out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 15 matches last year, was part of the championship team in 2024. Andrew Rowan is feeding the very, very hot hand.
As well he should.
One of 8 in the opening set, 6 of 9 here in the second. He has been very, very important. And Sean Kelly as well, 7 of 15. And we talked about, and you mentioned John Hawks in our conversation, the notable wins so far on the year. Long Beach State twice, very, very close. At Long Beach, a reverse sweep. UC Irvine, outstanding. Loyola Chicago. Ball State was playing at a very, very high level when they played. The Gauchos, tough there. That is a pretty stout schedule drawn up by John Hawks. And they play USC again on Friday night. And then they have Hawaii next week. So it doesn't get any easier.
It does not. I mean, they do say that if you want to win championships, you're going to eventually have to beat everyone, and UCLA is certainly testing themselves as the season moves along.
Set point number 1. Setter Blanchette was in the front court, and so Kelly closes it out. Tested once again, tested in the opening set. UCLA did not have a response. The Trojans were that good, but nicely done by UCLA to even this match at 1 set apiece. They take the second, 25-23. Offensive, Ricky Ludes and Doug Partee on USC side. The great Steve Timmons, Dusty Dvorak, Pat Powers, and Gabe Gardner, all Olympic champions. Underway here in the third set. USC at 8-1. We've mentioned it. UCLA still perfect at 14-0, their best start since 1998. That ball got to slow down Decker, and they do so to start things off. Klein with some help out of the middle by number 8, Parker Tompkinson. Ball served out of bounds. UCLA in the second set hit 452 after hitting a paltry, all credit to USC, 176 in the first set. And Cam Thorne started to get involved a little bit, only a little bit in the second. Had that one brief one where he had a couple of opportunities.
Yeah. The use of the word paltry there, Paul.
As opposed to?
As opposed to scant? I don't know.
Okay, that was good. But, you know, for the Bruins, number 1 team in the country in terms of hitting efficiency at 405, so to hit 176, that's probably, in a set, probably one of their lowest numbers on the year. One and then another block.
And how about that? Switching Blanchette over to that side of Decker, who has been the hot hand. He's 0 for 2 thus far in this third set, though.
Well, obviously, Jeff Nygaard likes that matchup, and Blanchette showing immediately that he can get some hands. Explain, Rich, why was it unusual that the setter would be out on the left side?
Well, I mean, it's not unusual to switch kind of positions. You know, like you said, maybe the coach likes the matchup, but when Decker's been the hot hand, it is weird to put your smaller blocker out in front of him, especially since Klein was the one in front of him on the previous era.
That's a nice play by Blanchette. And predominantly, you want the setter on the right side, because if you do dig a ball and get into a rally, it's much more efficient to have the setter coming from the right.
Absolutely. Blanchette feeling it a little bit. Bit of cheek, as my British friends like to say there.
Is that short for cheeky?
Cheeky, yeah.
Andrew Rowan can be an aggressive setter as well, so watch for that. Again, back at the service line, Rowan has not gotten it going. That's only the 10th attempt all season long for Blanchette. So not known for being an aggressive setter. Overpass and straight to the floor. David Decker will take that, give the assist to Andrew Rowan. Decker with his 8th kill.
It was a little less authoritative than I think Decker was hoping it would be, but effective nonetheless.
Down is down. Ace serve for Rowan. Number 25 on the year.
Now, you mentioned the word elite in reference to his serving ability. He's showing it off right now.
Well, Moni Nikolov changed the game a little bit last year at the collegiate level for Long Beach State. He's now playing professionally in Italy and doing, or Russia, excuse me, and doing very, very well. But I'm saying Andrew Rowan is Moni Nikolov light at the service line, which is still very heavy. First team All-American Andrew Rowan, the star setter for UCLA, #1 in the nation in assist, just dialed up his 25th ace. Jeff Nygaard took a timeout to try to ice him a little bit. Oh, perfect pass by Dykstra. Dylan Klein. Man, he's got some hops.
You know you got hang time too. When the set's higher than you're expecting it, you have to slow down and you still just elevate and detonate.
Yeah, I thought for sure that set was too high and that his rhythm wouldn't be there, but he just said, that's okay. I'll just jump my way out of this difficulty. Missed that ball out of bounds. USC has been better at the service line. You know, and aces and errors don't tell the story. It's what did your opponent pass when you're playing volleyball. Right now, at least in the first set, USC was the winner there. UCLA turned it around in the second. Good blocking out of the middle. Good work by Smith. One-on-one and got a piece of the block. Yeah, no question. Touch on the outside by Sterling Foley.
It was a good move, but being one-on-one against an attacker the likes of Decker is going to be advantage UCLA every single time there.
Foley's been quiet offensively, only 1 for 11 so far. Now Zach Rama will serve. Take your pick which one you want to dial up, but that's something that his coach and the rest of the coaching staff and Zach Rama are going to be working on very hard between now and the playoffs.
It's like when you don't know if it's going to draw or cut off the tee, and you're just a little bit.
Are you supposed to know?
Yeah.
When I'm standing on the tee box, all options are on the table.
My ball's going whichever direction the water is.
With Olympic champion Rich Lamborn, I'm Paul Sunderland. UCLA #1, USC #5. USC 25-21 in the opening set. UCLA coming back in a tight one, 25-23. Another service error. Those are starting to pile up on both sides. UCLA now with 14 errors. The Trojans with 11. 126th meeting all time. They played 4 times for the national championship. They would certainly both like to do that again. That championship tournament is at UCLA. Fantastic rhythm offensively. Perfect offensive volleyball by the Bruins.
Yeah, it's fairly easy to run a perfect offense rhythmically when Connolly passes the ball like that.
Flat. That's a really good swing. Maybe that will get Sterling Foley going a little bit on the outside.
Yeah, that is a really good swing. I like the communication as well between Blanchette and Dykstra. Dykstra stayed out of the way. Let Blanchette just scoop up a good hittable ball out there.
Things have really tightened up at the offensive end. We'll give you those numbers both for the set and the match so far. What a block. Fantastic read by Tompkinson.
Tompkinson not fooled whatsoever there. He was waiting and up big. Yeah, you love how he just closed the space as that ball moved into the front left part of the court.
Andrew Rowan might want to have that one back. USC hitting 302, UCLA now 285. The set tightening up once again. That was the first tie since 5-5. We've been going back and forth. And now the Trojans leading at 10-9.
Interesting. You mentioned Foley heating up a little bit. He had that great swing through the big three-man block, and that just kind of rolled right into this little service run of his beautifully for USC.
3-0 run now for the Trojans. Service ace. Not a lot of heat, but cutting it off short.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of placement over pace when it comes to serving. That's a little bit more of a beach approach, perhaps, because you just go back and bomb it, but his ability to move that around and keep the receivers on their heels is what leads to that ace there. Yeah, have a look. Expecting the heater, just takes a little bit off, doesn't show it any differently. Beautifully done.
So Foley with a high flat shot, and as you mentioned, rolling that momentum right into the service line with a couple of winners here, and adding to that run, the Trojans now on top 11-9. Friday, these two teams square off again at Pauley Pavilion, and you can see all the excitement live on Big Ten Plus. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. So these two teams will match up once again, and then UCLA will go to Hawaii to take on the Rainbow Warriors, one of the top programs each and every year. Last time versus UC Irvine, their only blemish so far on the year, the USC Trojans at 8-1, 17 service errors against only 2 aces. I was shortchanged on volumetrics. I went on volumetrics to look at the passing numbers for both of these teams. Volumetrics doesn't chart them. I said, come on, let's get on it.
Again, hearkening back to the old days, one of the cardinal sins would be to not miss out of a timeout ball. Let's see what happens here.
Forget all that. I'm amazed you remember us going through the 7 cardinal sins of serving.
I was journaling it. I was committing it to memory.
Oh, smart shot. The joust comes again and pushing the ball off the block and out of bounds. Very smart play, very composed by number 12, Sean Kelly. Having a beautiful match. Now 11 kills on 20 swings, 0 errors. No balls out of bounds, no balls blocked.
I'd have whispered, have a taste of your own medicine decline on that play.
That ball is killed. Falling back that time was 21 Rama, but what a dig by Decker down the line. Opposite playing really good defense in right back position number 1.
I've been impressed by a lot of these players out here just standing there with the paddles out, we used to say. Just kind of the hands facing towards the sky and let the ball hit it.
One-on-one. Again, Caleb Blanchette has been really impressive to me at the setting position. And why not honorable mention All-American last year. 10.6 assists last season. Not quite to that number right now, but that can be a little misleading depending on how long the sets are. If you want to get a lot of points per set, you got to play long sets, and maybe the Trojans have not. Over the top of the block, Wong Diallo.
Yeah, smart little tap down into kind of the campfire region.
I get the impression, and I'll look at the numbers and we'll give them to our audience, that the middles for UCLA generally pretty quiet. I'll look at Wong Diallo's numbers. He's got 3 kills on 11 swings, and Cam Thorne just 2 of 5. Oh, good block. Cam Thorne along with Rama.
Good close there. Cam gave it a little exclamation point.
Well, I think Jeff Nygaard's doing a good job right now protecting and standing up for his players, because Cam Thorne was talking a little bit through the net. I like this by Coach Nygaard, standing up for his players.
Yeah. At the same time, I think there should be a little bit more of that allowed in our sport. A little chirping through the net never hurt anybody.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
That's a nice job by Blanchette, feeding the big man up high. Just Wesley Smith going over the top when he's at full extension.
Smith, number 16 for the Trojans, 5 of 7. Parker Tompkinson comparing middles to middles, 3 of 8. Perfect pass. Nice play by Dykstra. And Klein just shoving the ball through the block now for his 14th kill.
Particularly in transition, I think Dylan Klein's perfect set as we take a look at this wonderful dig from Dykstra. Watch this. This ball's going to go over the net, and Klein just elevates and picks it off.
That ball tucked inside. Cam Thorne right on cue, trying to get the middles a little more involved. And Rowan will go back to the line. Dialed up an ace the beginning of this set for his 25th so far on the year.
He might have even had a pair.
Yeah. That is pretty well handled by Dykstra. Klein.
What it must be like to elevate to about 47 inches and then look around and decide which direction you want to go with it.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, neither would I.
Can he play in 2028?
It comes down to service reception. I mean, he's certainly physical enough. I think that skill right there is going to be an X factor too.
Again out of the middle, Wes Smith, 6'11" junior, and a really good reader of the game.
You half expect him to go, if he dies, after big blocks like that.
Klein again. And missed that out of bounds. It's going to be an interesting summer for both the men's and women's Olympic teams, because both coaches have told all of their players, veteran or otherwise, you got to be in the gym this summer, compete in VNL this summer, start building your team towards the Los Angeles Olympics. A lot of the veteran players on both the men's and women's side, Joe and Klein, just missed that out of bounds. Several of the veteran men's and women's players took this summer off, this past summer.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. put out some great outside hitters at the World Championships late last year.
Young, and ended up finishing 4th. Good high swing. That's such a smart swing by 12 Kelly.
That is a very, very good swing, attacking that third closing blocker.
It's a lot like the second set when it was 25-23. Kelly now 12 of 22. 0 errors, and that's out of bounds. Rama struggling from the service line. But you know, people don't know, maybe they don't know. Women's college volleyball, 15 subs. Men's college volleyball, 6 subs. Because they're thinking, oh, wait a minute, if he can't serve, or if he's struggling, not that he can't, why don't you take him out? You only have 6 subs.
Yeah.
Almost everybody plays 6 full rotations.
Yeah, and the back row offense, such a huge part of the game, obviously.
Perfect pass by Rama. We'll also get a look for Karch this summer. Foley. 1 for 11, and now he's got a couple of kills.
Really like that rhythm in transition, too. It's a high pass that's probably about 15 feet off the net, but watch just that 2-step close. Really great swing there for Foley.
Very impressed with Wes Smith. Smart shot, recycle the point. And again. That ball is, that ball is down. It is now. But good hustle that time by Wes Smith, the very physical big middle blocker. Boy, he is put together. You're right.
Yeah.
Mazurski light.
Very much so. Yeah. If you love volleyball, do yourself a favor and Google Dmitry Musserski.
On the back row combination, Blanchette going to Klein again. Klein now with 16 kills.
Really solid rhythm on that big set. Everything in front of Klein there, just easy put away cross body.
Boy, I like the offensive evolution. It used to be right down the middle on the pipe, or it would be the D, but now they're finding small little seams and very, very subtle places to get an advantage.
Yeah, I think you have to look back to probably one of the greatest teams of all time, the 2004 Brazil Olympic team. They really started opening up those kinds of sets.
Ricardinho, Sergio, Giba. That's going to be a net violation. And USC into the red zone, now leading at 20-18.
Yeah, that was a squad, Paul, that from 2002 World Championships until the 2008 World League did not lose an international competition.
Dante on that team as well.
Dante and Giba, the outsides. Andre, the opposite. Ricardinho, maybe, certainly in the conversation for best setter ever.
Off the block and out of bounds. So we are going down memory lane.
Yeah, well, I'll say something, and I challenge anyone to debate me on this. Sergio is and will always be the greatest player at the libero position.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
At least so far.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, with all due respect to the current greats, Eric Shoji, of course, Grebennikov, Zatorsky from Poland. I mean, all of these players are great, but Sergio, there's zero weaknesses. The guy could run an offense in its entirety in transition if the setter dug the ball. I mean, he was just unbelievable.
Third set, USC hitting 471, UCLA 350. So both teams have found their rhythm offensively. And it's a break for the Bruins. That service error. 21-20 now still is the Trojans' advantage.
Yeah, you like Foley going after it a little bit there if you're SC, because he's feeling it.
Tied at a set apiece. Klein again with an outstanding pass. Pass to attack. Outstanding in both phases.
I've been kind of keeping an eye on that when he receives. How often do they set him and how frequently does he kill it? As you mentioned, there's the perfect pass. He's up quickly and puts that ball away. But remember in our talk with Coach Hawks, he said their numbers said that when Klein passes the ball, he's hitting 0.
Boy, back-to-back service errors. That's taken a little bit of the pressure off that time. Ryan Sprague, 6'4" senior out of Manhattan Beach, coming on to serve and missed that. It was interesting. John Hawks told us when we had our conversation with the Bruins head coach that Dylan Klein was hitting 0 pass to attack. I think he better double check his number. 0 means the same number of kills as errors.
Right.
Which is not good.
Not good, but he's out kicking that thus far.
There's Taliaferro. And high for the tap down. Very, very nicely done. Wes Smith is an impressive young athlete. 6'11" junior.
Little basketball style, just the rebound hop back up there and put that second effort away.
6 of 8 in attack, couple of blocks, and really good reader of the game. Impressive performance by the junior. Trojans are 2 points away. Good block deflection. Restart the point. Very, very good shot. Dykstra right on target. Rama over the top, dug again by Dykstra. Kelly is dug, but Dykstra, who's been rock solid at the libero, can't get there. 23-22.
There were a couple less than great decisions made by the Trojans in that rally. I think not going to Klein in transition was the first one.
Yeah, don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
He's hitting .414 with 18 kills on 29 swings. This is who the Bruins want at the service line. Quick, high throw down out of the middle.
So you mentioned how great of a serve that is, and it certainly is. But this is now, I think, 3 times in succession that ball's hit Dykstra. You got to find somebody else, I think, with that serve. Dykstra is doing a great job handling it. Sorry, Paul.
2 set points for the Trojans. And they only need the 1. Sterling Foley, who'd been struggling early on in this match, found a couple of kills, got a couple of aces, and he gets the scoring block to close it out as the 5th-ranked USC Trojans on top of the #1 ranked and undefeated
by our crew.
Just underway here in the 4th. And immediately a chance for UCLA, and they get it from Rama. Rama now 9 of 20.
A really nice control of that first contact and transition by the Bruins, setting that up.
UCLA would like to get this man, Michael Wong Diallo, along with Cameron Thorne, a little more involved in the offense. USC's middle blockers have been a little bit better for it in terms of the numbers. Rama stretching out that 6'8" frame over the top of the block and down.
Yeah, and credit Rowan getting that ball all the way up near the net from a tough position deep in the court, allowing his big man to go high to the line side corner.
UCLA hoping to get into their 4th straight national championship match. They won in 23-24 before falling to the Long Beach State 49ers last year behind Moni Nikolov. Rama, did he get a piece of the block? Did not. Looking for Caleb Blanchette down the line and missed it.
That's a good break for the Trojans, because they were on a little bit of a slide.
The moth just flew by. Was that a sparrow or a moth?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a large something or other.
Ball served just out of bounds by Foley.
These days it could be a drone, Paul. You never know.
It could be. It could be. USC won the opening set 25-21. UCLA the second 25-23, and then the Trojans 25-22. Rama again. Nice dig by Dykstra. I don't know if Klein got a piece of that as well. So Klein pass to attack, and now somewhat digging to attack. I think Dykstra, number 10 in the Libero jersey, got a piece of that defensively.
Yeah, he was in the area. That's all
no,
Dykstra.
it was all Dykstra.
But look, Klein went down for it.
He was participating.
He was on his tail end and then got up and hit that angle.
Jeff Nygaard in his 11th year here at USC. Is it his best team? It certainly appears so, the way they're playing against UCLA so far on the night. Rama again. That's 3 quick kills for Zach Rama to start out this 4th set.
Yeah, you wonder if that was a discussion between sets. Hey, we got to get Rama going because they're feeding him almost exclusively in the early part of this 4th set.
Well, Rama averaging 4.3 kills per set, which is a huge number, and hitting .404. Big block. One of the first time Decker along with Thorne.
And that's when he's a little bit vulnerable, Klein, when he's got to kind of hang. Watch the rhythm, not perfect there on his way down just a touch, and Decker does a nice job of pressing into Trojan airspace.
Excellent pass. Foley getting things started for the Trojans. Free ball coming to USC. Right on top of the net. Interfering with the set by Cameron Thorne.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. We'll maybe see this on a replay if he touched the ball. Looked like it just slipped off the hands a little bit of Blanchette. There was contact, though.
I think they're saying, I'm not sure if Kelly got a piece of the ball. You cannot block the set, but he did certainly get a piece of the hand.
Technically speaking, illegal slapping, not a violation.
No slapping allowed. This isn't the Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
Yeah, this isn't a Dana White.
Lecture tonight, Caleb Blanchette.
I mean, how about the hang time on Klein, though? It's so impressive, especially in slow-mo. Now, there's a look. I don't think the ball was touched, but certainly the hand was.
Bert Fuller, the first referee, and immediately Cam Thorne going behind for the back quick. Just his 4th kill so far. I mentioned that because he averages 2 per set. Here we are in the 4th, so that's below his average in terms of production. but a lot of that is in the hands of Andrew Rowan, the setter. With the fist, I think. That is a fister by Wes Smith, his 8th kill.
Tremendously good adjustment there. That ball way too low. It's kind of right at shoulder level, and he just shot puts it cross body, cross court anyways.
UCLA must win. Perfect pass by Connolly. Back row combination. That's going to be 4 contacts. It was micro touch out of the middle by Wong Diallo. 6-5. Klein with his service error. Well, interesting match so far, Rich, between these two. USC hitting .330, holding UCLA down, holding them down to .302. They hit .405 on the year. Tough serve, but pretty well handled. Good first contact by Decker, and Rama one-on-one is stuffed by Foley.
That is a tremendous read. When Decker went down, I was thinking, man, the block has to push out to the right side. Foley did not take that bait as Rama came around to hit the D ball.
Yeah, Decker was down. He would ordinarily be hitting out of the right back position. Good read by Rama, but a better block by USC's Foley. And that ball drifts just out of bounds. And starting to add up for both of these teams. UCLA, 2 service aces against 15 errors. USC, 6 aces. That's a big number compared to their season average. Kelly into the cross court. Good touch by Dykstra. Nicely dug by Blanchette, hustling at the defensive end, and that's going to be a touch off the block. So again, USC hasn't played in 18 days. That was against UC Irvine. Their only blemish on the season. They split with the Anteaters. It was a touch off the block that time. Yep.
Our officials doing an excellent job
Yep.
of detecting those this evening.
And missed out of bounds by Rama. Good looking offense, but that's a ball that he has got to put to the floor. You can't hit that ball out of bounds. He knows it.
That's again one of those byproducts of perhaps having too many options. You know, you can go over the top of the blocks. You're trying to do that, and sometimes you fluff it just a little bit.
Fantastic swing by Wong Diallo, and aggressive setting that time by Rowan into the middle. Bruins would love to have more of that.
Absolutely, going to the short side of the court too. That was fantastic from Wong Diallo.
Wong Diallo now 4 of 12. 4 errors for the Bruin middle blocker, so 12 swings, and net he scored 0 points in the attack phase. One-on-one. Rama. Good adjustment by Zach Rama, number 21 in blue. We talked about Dylan Klein. Zach Rama will be in the USA gym this summer as well.
I think for both of them, the serve's going to be kind of a deciding factor. They're both great offensive players, both very physical, of course, do the serve-receive game well.
That's such out of bounds, a rare error, looking for a touch. None there. We're going to have a challenge. We're going to challenge touch off the block. That is a challenge by USC. Men's college volleyball, you get 3 challenges to start the match, and as long as you were correct, you keep those 3. Let's listen in.
USC is challenging defensive touch off the block.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's really, really good camera work, and no question that'll be overturned. That was clearly off the left hand of number 1 in blue, Cameron Thorne.
Yeah, overturned, one would think and hope, relatively quickly as well.
Well, as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
it's already done.
Yeah, I mean, you see the pinky finger and the ring finger of Thorne just bend back there. There was a lot of, at the World Championships, players, I think, who don't like these breaks in the action. If it, you don't cop to it immediately, but if the other team challenges and you touched it, you just go, I got it.
Yeah, exactly right. The challenge system at the international level, which is moving more and more collegiately, it's just a question of cost.
Yeah.
And the challenge system is so good that if you've touched it, even if you went and had a mani that day, it's going to show the challenge. So they just say, yeah, I touched it. Let's play.
Play on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, cost is obviously the prohibitive factor there. Obviously, everybody wants all the calls to be right all the time, and the technology does exist, but it is expensive.
Well, we've got a break in the action. Looking at this, we thought it was an obvious touch, but they're taking some time. UCLA at 14-0, Long Beach State, year in, year out, and Hawaii as well. Fred Rosenthal out of nearby Manhattan Beach, 6'9", 6'10" setter for the Rainbow Warriors. And UC Irvine and USC round out the top 5. Coach Hawks was a little bit upset that this was taking. He knows his player touched the ball. He pointed at his watch, and it just taken too long. Coach, we agree.
Coach, you can tell your guy to cop to it, and we can move on.
But Coach Hawks, he's going, wait a minute. Okay, this call's going to go against us.
Right.
We're going to lead 11-9.
Right.
Here we go.
After review, the call will stand. USC will lose its challenge.
Oh, wow. Well, there's a turn of events. Color me shocked, Paul. I mean, this is about as obvious as it gets right here. Sometimes you think you're not, if a call stands, you think maybe you're not getting all the angles, but that's clearly a touch.
I'm speechless, which never happens.
Yeah, have a look at the look on Thorne's face. He knows he got away with one.
Well, and now this is really, Coach Hawks was saying to the second referee, look, it's already been 3 minutes, and now we're having more of a conversation. At one point, you've got to just say, look, we're the Supreme Court. The decision's been made. Live with it.
I mean, you certainly understand from Coach Nygaard's perspective.
100%.
Clearly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm not blaming Coach Nygaard. I'm blaming the officials. They got to move it on.
Right.
That ball thumped out of bounds. And this by number 2, Noah Roberts. And the UCLA lead continues. You can see why Coach John Hawks wanted to keep things moving along. The Bruins have got some momentum here in a must-win situation to force a 5th set tiebreaker.
Yeah, you feel bad for USC a little bit because things start to snowball against you when they could have and should have perhaps been different.
And that ball missed out of bounds, and maybe Coach Nygaard needs a timeout. Yeah, we're going to take one right now. Yeah, no question about that. UCLA now with a 13-8 advantage. We will step aside here at the Galen Center. Crosstown rivalry between the Trojans and the Bruins. App, back with Olympic champion Rich Lamborn. I'm Paul Sun. I was in Indianapolis this past weekend. Really good sports town. Really good town. One-on-one, and that ball chopped into the cross court for a much-needed side-out score for Sterling Foley and the USC Trojans.
Yeah, much needed indeed, and can Foley maybe ignite the Trojans with a run from the service line?
Well, before that kill, USC had 4 attack errors and 3 service errors and was hitting 0 here in the 4th. No wonder they were losing, and that's another fourth service error. Too many free points. And when you look at a team's resume, USC scores 17 points per set, and UCLA on the other side scores 18 points per set. So one needing a little more help than the other. Perfect first contact by Klein. Excuse me, Connolly at the libero for UCLA. Oh, nice stab by Dykstra, but off the defense and out of bounds. Boy, jousts are in double figures so far on the night.
Well, that is kind of a new wave tactic in transition, to throw the ball up tight and let your athletes work. If it gets too tight, you joust.
Bowen trying to add to the biggest lead on the night for either team in this contest. That ball swinging crossbody off the block and out of bounds.
Yeah, how about the set from Noah Roberts? Off the court, putting it right up on the net, and Klein going off the side of the block.
Dykstra to the sideline. And here is Parker Tompkinson with a jump floater, easily handled. If you're going to serve the jump floater, don't serve the libero. I used to say that in Beijing. Do not serve Lamborn. Do not serve Rich Lamborn.
That's interesting, because that's what I was
thinking. Or Sergio
thinking.
when you played Brazil for the gold medal.
That's what was going on in my head too. Don't serve me.
Fifth match this season for Dylan Klein with 20+ kills, now with 21 on 37 swings.
Yeah, he's really done a nice job of minimizing the errors. He had midway through the second set kind of more errors than he'd like to see next to the kill total, but he's steadied out big time.
Cam Thorne with a kill.
He's a big weapon if the Bruins can get that ball up into the front part of the court. Look how quickly he gets on this ball.
Thorne now 5 kills on 10 swings. It's a relatively quiet night, but I agree with you. See a little bit more of that if you're the Bruins. Here's Trent Talafiero. That is so good. What a delivery that time by Blanchett. I know Smith is a big target, but that's not easy.
It isn't easy, and it's interesting. It's almost counterintuitive that Blanchett's best deliveries have been kind of from off the net. Gives him some space to really elevate that ball up to his big stick, Smith.
Still time for the Trojans to come back and apply some pressure to the Bruins. Yeah, going more middle. Wong Diallo on the gap.
The USC, you got to keep the ball off Connolly, I think, especially when you got 4 receivers out there. Find a way to get the ball to Decker if you can. I'm sure that's what Klein was trying to do.
Christopher Connolly being the outstanding libero for UCLA out of Naples, Florida, transfer from Long Beach State. Won a national championship with the Beach last year. And another off the edge and out of bounds. Some of the pin blockers for UCLA, there's some work to be done there. There's a lot of tooling going on by the Trojans.
Yeah, that's admittedly a tough circumstance there. One-on-one, It's always going to be difficult, but you got to have your hands shaping back into the opponent's side of the court.
Nice pass by Kelly. Ooh, wow, rare unforced error. David Decker, one-on-one out of the right back, the D zone, and missed that. Ball was a little deep.
Smith's got to keep this away from Connolly again. Kelly made a great pass. But that's where you want to go, not the libero with this float serve.
Look at this screen deployed by the Trojans. Supposed to be against the rules. Not very often enforced. That was, this ball's got to go. That was back on Kelly. Oh, huge break for the Bruins. Just missed out of bounds by Tompkinson.
Just had a little bit of that underspin on the ball that sailed it just past the end line. Good communication from the Bruins in that play mid-rally to let their libero know that ball had to go over.
And well left by the Trojans. Kelly wants a challenge. Sean Kelly saying, wait a minute, we got to take a look at that.
That looked like it was long from here, but we have been wrong before, it seems, Paul.
Speak for yourself. If I listed all the times I've been wrong on challenges. Here we go.
UCLA is challenging the ball was in.
I'm going to not consider that we were wrong on the last one just because
We weren't.
Yeah.
We weren't.
It's awfully close.
Any part of the ball on any part of the line.
Yeah, that
From that angle, and we'll get another one.
I think Kelly may get what he wants here.
It's interesting that he would know that from about 60 feet away.
Yeah,
Well, you just have a feel, right? You have a
right.
feel.
We got our tech crew sitting right next to us, got a different look at it.
Well, again, it has to be 100%. The ball was called out. So they're going to take a very, that seems to be, what do you think, Rich?
Yeah, to me it looks like it caught a piece of the line. Now,
Here we go.
After review, the call is confirmed. UCLA will lose its challenge.
all right, well, so color me 0 for 2.
One of the UCLA assistant coaches who's got the live feed on his MacBook was showing the replay of Coach Hawks. And trust me, if it wasn't 1915, we'd be having a different conversation. But UCLA still has some room to breathe.
And if you're UCLA, you have to consider that, 1-1 as far as the challenges go.
Oh, what a dig that time by Klein, but just couldn't get behind it. Juan Diallo is a high flyer and quick like Cam Thorne.
It looked like Roberts was going to be able to get there, but just kind of ran out of time.
Grayson Bradford, who we saw very briefly coming in this role once again, the AVCA, American Volleyball Coaches Association National High School Player of the Year.
Here's a testament to how talented UCLA is if they've got him coming off the bench.
Well, he is going to have a very, very bright future. I talked to Coach Hawks a couple of weeks ago before I had UCLA hosting Ohio State, and knows that number 20 in blue will play a very big role for his teams going forward. That was such a fun match. Ohio State comes into town, second set, 48-46. It's a new record.
Yeah, that sounds like it. I mean, that's a lot of volleyball.
It was almost 2 full sets in one. That ball tipped out of bounds by Thorne. Good blocking, good read. 2 blockers up for USC.
Yeah, absolutely. Dykstra was all over that tip. Anyways, watched it go wide.
One more, and for sure UCLA will call a timeout. Foley. Decker gets himself out of trouble, and the Bruins.
He's kind of cooled off since that second set hot patch he had, but that's a really quality swing, taking a little bit off and working it through the block.
Johnny Dykstra, number 10, right in the middle of the serve receive. 15 digs so far on the night. That's a new season high. Really good in reception and good with the eye.
Yeah, sometimes that's just as difficult deciding whether a ball's in or out when it's coming at that pace.
Ryan Sprague coming on now to serve for USC. We talked about it before, but light years different game than what I played, and still different from what you played in 2000. Oh, blocked by Klein along with Wes Smith. I'm very impressed with Klein, but also Wes Smith. I mean, what an athlete put together, and he reads the game really nicely.
very well. He does a nice job utilizing his size, certainly.
And USC doing exactly what we mentioned a few moments ago, putting some pressure on the Bruins now. 21-19, their lead was 6. A touch was called. A touch was called by the linesperson and now overruled. The linesperson clearly called a touch.
Yeah, I think it was almost based on the body reaction here. Let's see. Does it get? Yeah, there's no touch. I don't think that was a touch. Certainly Roberts kind of flinched at it like he was going to try and touch it, but I don't think he got his hand out in time.
Well, we got a confab at the referee's station. We have the umpire. We have the first referee, Bert Fuller. We have both lines people. I'd say a pretty important call.
Absolutely, and I think whichever way they decide after this confab, we're going to see a challenge.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Yeah. I think you got to challenge this. Well, what about the challenge we had earlier on? That ball clear in our mind. Well, it was off of Cam Thorne.
Well, yeah, there's not our truth and the truth. There's the truth. That was absolutely
that's right. Thank you for that. So after the discussion, the ball is going to stay with USC, and it's 21-20.
I like this from Coach Hawks, though, to not challenge and further prolong. You know what I mean? I think.
3-0 run for USC.
I think he got a good look at it. You know, when you're sort of begging that the one-line judge made a touch call, I think you know what reality is, and you're sort of hoping to get something to go your way.
I'll tell you, UCLA sideline not very happy right now.
I'll tell you who's beside himself is the stat guy still looking at that serve from Kelly earlier. Yeah, I don't. In my experience, throwing your hand behind you and touching a ball going at this pace, very unlikely.
Well, I think what the contention was, was that Dylan Klein was way late getting in, and he was well off the net, and that there was a deflection by number 1 as the ball was going out of bounds.
Interesting.
And of course, volleyball players, not so much today with the challenge, but volleyball players are notorious liars.
True.
You had to be a good liar.
The great Jake Gibb, that I had the opportunity to coach on the beach.
Yeah.
He said they pay referees to show up and do their job, and it's not my responsibility to officiate.
It is absolutely not the player's job to do. They have plenty of responsibility on their plate.
You know, the great Al Skates, as relayed to me from a lot of his players, said if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And not that denying a touch is cheating.
I'm just going to leave that one out there. I've heard that before, but I got you. 5-1 run now for the Trojans. UCLA at one point had a very comfortable lead at 18-12. Good block.
How about the help there from Blanchette? UCLA is not pleased on their side of the net right now.
Luka Kurtji coming on now for UCLA. David Decker going to the sideline. Tied at 21. UCLA 14-0. Ranked number 1 in the country. USC 8-1, ranked number 5. They split the 2 meetings last year. Perfect pass. Kelly, almost an unstoppable back row combination.
I got that being a little bit of a mistake. If you're Sprague, he did a nice job getting his team back, but you can't serve easy float serves to the libero in that circumstance.
Kelly now 16 of 30, no errors, having a huge night. Make it 17 of 31. Very easy serve, not to the libero, but easy and high off the block and out of bounds. Klein now with 22 kills.
I mean, he just exists in a different stratosphere up there, doesn't he, offensively? And when he keeps the ball high like that, the block essentially has no chance.
Blanchette. Kelly, dug by Dykstra. That's dig number 16. Must have for UCLA. Thorne.
A little extra oomph on that one.
Yeah, Johnny Dykstra was there for a moment, and he just had to sort of laugh that one off. Next man up. Kudos to Dykstra for hanging in.
Yeah, hang in there.
Very easy serve, and you're going to pay the price. That serve just too easy. Credit to both teams' receivers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but Foley's still doing a nice job of handling that ball.
Oh, yeah.
You got to take care of the easy ones.
Well, look at the situation. I mean, tied at 23. 10 kills for Smith. That ball might have been out of bounds. Wong Diallo. Wonderful, aggressive, gutsy choice by Andrew Rowan.
Yeah, absolutely. At that juncture, I mean, the perfect pass certainly helps, but making that decision, going to the gap.
Set point number 1. Well done by Dykstra. And that's off the block and out of bounds.
That's the first time that the first set point hasn't been put away by the set point holder in this match.
Well, good. Let's battle it out here a while. I don't know about 48-46, but let's stay a little bit.
I don't know if my bladder can handle it going that deep.
I can't speak to that. Rama able to broad jump that one through, but the serve once again to the libero Connolly with not much on it.
Yeah, a good choice I think again by Rowan, but a better fix by Rama on the low set.
Set point number 2. Must win for the Bruins to force the 15-point tiebreaker. Boy, high toss. Well handled by the Trojans. What a shot. Oh, he missed it out of bounds. We're going to have a challenge. Jeff Nygaard says we're going to challenge in or out.
I mean, he seemed pretty confident. He immediately went to that challenge card. That ball was not quickly hit.
USC challenging the ball was in.
What a smart shot to begin with.
No, I mean,
That ball's in.
That's got to be in. Yeah, there's
Really good work.
there's
by
not
our
enough
crew
pace to
once
where
again.
it is shaping the ball and all that stuff. That thing is right on the sideline. I think we would consider this a critical call.
Well, it's unique to volleyball in that the ball compresses, and so when it does compress, any part of the ball on any part of the line at any time. I mean, I've been in some replays where it was like, well, wait a minute, it landed out of bounds first, because you can, I mean, you know, at this level, the micro, the frames per second. I'm a good lip reader sometimes, and the official said the call is going to be reversed.
After review, the call will be reversed. USC retains its challenge.
The crowd erupts.
24 kills now for Dylan Klein.
Interesting here. Cooper Keene coming in for the Trojans, meaning no setter in transition should they create an opportunity here. Blanchette going to the bench.
A little more blocking size, although Blanchette has blocked his position pretty well. Rama. No setter on the floor.
I mean, that's if you're
That's the
Cooper
risk you take.
If you're Cooper Keene, I understand it's a very, very difficult position to be in, but you've got to have that as job number one in transition.
Yeah, he was backing off the net.
Yeah. That's unfortunate because that was a golden opportunity.
Set point number 3 for Micah Wong Diallo and UCLA. They've already played a couple of 5-set matches at Long Beach and at UC Irvine, winning both. Speaking of the Bruins.
Not entirely sure what the holdup is.
Nope, me either.
I think, yeah. I think Foley may have had a little blood, and he's switched.
Yeah. Jersey change along the sideline.
Switched jerseys.
Sterling Foley was number 12 moments ago. Now he's wearing number 3.
He's a quarter of the man he used to be.
I don't think he would agree.
No, I don't agree with that assessment either.
Middle again. Blocking down and another set point save.
Love Dykstra being aggressive, stepping in and controlling that free ball. And you got to love Blanchett just feeding Tompkinson in the middle in critical spots right there. And now the fresh jersey, Foley, who's been their best server, I think.
4 aces so far on the night, if you're looking specifically at that category. Yeah, he's 4 times as good on his shorts.
He's a leg guy.
Beautiful pass by Rama. Tucked inside by Klein.
How about the fortuitous nature of Klein being on the right to block against Rama there and getting fed in transition?
Timeout UCLA. They being the Bruins, have had 3 set points. And once again, back to John Hawks and our conversation earlier in the week. Yep, they're 14-0, but they have certainly been tested previously by UC Irvine, by Ball State, by Long Beach State, not once but twice, and also UC Santa Barbara, and they're being tested right now by the number 5 Trojans.
And we talked to him a little bit about that concept, didn't we? Is it a detriment perhaps to make it all the way to the tournament, the postseason undefeated? He said they've had plenty of tribulation, as you just mentioned there, Paul. This would certainly fall into that category.
The Trojans have not beaten a number 1 team since 2019. The last year they went to the NCAA national semifinals. Last national championship for USC was in 1990. They've won 4 all time. One of those against the Bruins. Early stages of this sport as an NCAA sport. UCLA won the first ever national championship, and then under legendary Al Skates won 6 out of the first 7. And that went through a long drought from 2006 until 2023. They were stuck on 19. And then it was time for 20 in 2023, and then they won again in 2024. And now have by far the most ever with 21. Next is Pepperdine with 5.
What can Foley come up with right here?
We're about to find out. Match point number 1 for USC. To Klein. Had another contact. Combination. Gutsy play by Kelly.
Yeah, that's a maybe critical mental error right there. I mean, you like the better safe than sorry kind of thing, but that's... Interesting.
Head coach Jeff Nygaard is challenging maybe 3-meter line violation.
3-meter violation is what it looked like.
USC is challenging the illegal back row attack.
There you go. 3-meter line violation. If the call stands, we're tied at 27. Dylan Klein, what a picture of consistency. 5 kills in the first set, 6 in the second, 7 in the third, 5 here in the fourth. And my computer didn't die, but it kicked me off. Guessed why?
Boy,
The numbers don't really matter. Let's take another.
that was why. I mean, he was a foot and a half behind the 3-meter line.
After review, the call is confirmed. USC will lose its challenge.
Okay, the call will stand, tied at 27.
This is interesting now, Paul, as SC's best server, UCLA's best server back at the line in the form of Andrew Rowan.
Oh, good block by Blanchette to save, at least for the moment. What a dig by Connolly. That ball might have been out of bounds. Play on. Maybe the point of the match so far. Dug again by Connolly. Out of bounds for the Bruins.
That was a tremendous rally. Unfortunate that a hitting error is how it closed, but I mean, what defense.
You gotta love this. I mean, both Libros are standing on their heads.
Yeah.
Match point number 2 for USC.
Unbelievable defense, as you said. Connolly and Dykstra both.
In system, back row, quick combination.
That was a scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla for Kelly.
19 kills now for Kelly on the evening. 19 of 36. One error. Zach Rama's only hitting 162. The Trojans have really slowed him down. Back to Klein. What a block. I think Blanchette made a good choice to turn and swing at that ball, but a better read in anticipation by Kelly.
Yeah, I agree. I like the aggressiveness, but it's so critical there. I don't know if you take a full cut. Either way, it's a great play by Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly was right there. Really good read, one-on-one. 29-28, set point number 4. USC has had 2 match points. Playing for the 126th time. I remember going back into the late 70s and early 80s, which was my era, and the matches between USC and UCLA. 10,000 people at Poly Pavilion or 700 in the men's gym at USC.
Yeah,
And you had Tim Hovland, Steve Timmons, Dusty Dvorak, Pat Powers, Steve Sammons, Dave Saunders, Karch Kirai. I mean, those were some of the most intense contests you could ever imagine. They played 4 times. UCLA and USC have played for the national championship 4 times. They hope that this is the 5th. There's Dave Saunders, 2-time Olympic champion. Steve Sammons there, the legendary Al Skates. And then the Bruins once again, 79, 80, and 81. And then it was, there's Ozzie Volstad on the left side, along with so many other fantastic Bruins, and USC won the championship in 1980. And going at it again, and maybe we'll go at it again at Pauley Pavilion in early May for the national championship. Set point. Oh boy, blocked by Thorne out of the middle. Really good read. Back row combination was there, but UCLA able to close it out 30-28 and stay alive moving into the tiebreaker. UCLA is 2-0 in 5-set matches. Long Beach State and UC Irvine. USC is 3-0 over the Buckeyes, over Cal State Northridge, and at UC Irvine. Well, let's go the distance. 15-point tiebreaker coming up right after this. UCLA and USC. Currently ranked at number 5, Cameron Thorne, with a block that closed things out, along with Olympic champion Rich Lamborn. I'm Paul Sunderland. Your thoughts going in to the 5th set tiebreaker?
Well, man, it's anybody's ball game. I tend to think that these tiebreakers are all about execution. Who's going to serve the best? Who's going to make the fewest errors? As kind of trite as that seems, I think more often than not, that's what it comes down to, especially when it's as closely contested as this match has been. Dylan
Klein leading the way with 25 kills. Wes Smith also in double figures with 10. Sean Kelly has been superb, 19 of 36. Zach Rama, he's got 14 kills, but he's had to take 38 swings to get there with 8 errors. Does have 6 digs and a couple of blocks. UCLA hitting 273 so far on the evening. USC 288. Here we go. Teams will change sides at 8. Each gets an additional challenge. Cam Thorne, yeah, I knew that was coming. You got to reward the middle blocker after he stuffed set point. And Andrew Rowan, smartly set up by John Hawks. Look, it's not brain surgery. You get Andrew Rowan back to the line as early in the set as possible. Give him a couple of trips. Even in a set to 15, he might go through the service rotation twice. Good touch by Connolly, and back to Thorne. Quick early lead by Andrew Rowan in UCLA.
Well, you like the response from Thorne, right? Remember, late in set 4, he's the one that hit that ball wide after the long kind of best rally of the match.
Good point.
Responded very well with a couple kills and that deciding stuff.
Off the tape and down for Rowan. Second ace of the night. That's number 26 on the season.
That's a dagger.
Might have an early timeout here. Jeff Nygaard confirming that, yep, you do get 2. Even though the set is abbreviated to 15, you do have 2 team timeouts, and USC can't wait any longer. UCLA on top early, 3-0 in the 5th. Drew Rowan, 2-time All-American setter. Best server on UCLA's squad back at the line. Early timeout, and I think a much needed and smart timeout taken by Jeff Nygaard. Tossed way into the court. Pretty well handled by Dykstra. Klein. He is blocked. 3 big Bruins. It's 4-0.
They've really done a nice job, the Bruins have, of adjusting their setup and blocking defense against Klein. He loves to go into that hard cross court. That's a well-formed 3-man block. But also Connolly's made a couple nice digs in the cross court.
You know, I mentioned it being the 5th set. What we all want, what everybody wants, is close sets. Klein running that down, and we've had exactly that. 25-23, 25-22, 28-26. Off the block and down. These will change sides at 8, and this one is getting away from USC.
Yeah, this is the combination you hate to see if you're the Trojans, where you got a guy rolling from the service line, and then also the breaks are going, the bounces are going the way of the Bruins.
USC led it 2-1. Dug by Connolly, but you can't chase that one down. That ended, going back to the conclusion of the 4th set, that stopped an 8-0 run by UCLA. Can't have that. 6-1, UCLA leads it. USC has used a timeout. They will get another break, if you will. Play is supposed to be continuous with the 8-point side change. Here's Rama. That ball's down. Not intentionally off speed, but out of necessity.
Out of necessity, and it's good to have that length. Big Wesley Smith.
6'11", and his bookend on the other side, Parker Tompkinson, who've both been outstanding, but very impressed with Wes Smith. Tompkinson is a 7-foot middle blocker. Here's Caleb Blanchette. Really good battle at the outside. Hitting positions. Sean Kelly has been really superb tonight. 19 kills on 36 swings. And a very clean card. Decker off the block and out of bounds. 1 point away from the side change.
Yeah, I like the decisions that Rowan's making in this 5th set. Feeding the middles early. Going back to Decker here. He's been a little bit quiet in the last couple sets, but just making sure that their offense stays balanced.
Middle blockers exchanging serves way too short. UCLA, perfect 4 for 4 offensively so far in this 5th set. Klein. Ace serve.
A little bit of a jump start there for the Trojans. Remember, in the 4th set, they were down 13-8, went on a little bit of a run. They're going to need some similar magic here in the 5th in this abbreviated decider.
Yeah, the biggest lead for the Bruins was 18-12 before the Trojans came back to tie it at 21. Chance for the Trojans, and missed long. Teams will change sides with the Bruins, #1 in the country with their undefeated record. At 14-0, teams will change sides. 8-4 is the advantage, still with an additional challenge here in the 5th set. USC just got to make a couple of plays. They proved that they can put together a little bit of a mini run and get back in this.
Well, their blocking defense all night has been fantastic,
Yep.
so they can slow the Bruins down, but plays like that last one, they can't make unforced errors when they have scoring opportunities.
Sean Kelly, with his 19 kills, tied his career high.
Yeah, the one error is what jumps out at that stat line to me.
Yeah. One against this block and defense. And Decker misses that ball over the end line, but certainly some margin for error, so you can take some more chances offensively. Here's Ryan Sprague, 6'4" backup setter, will come on now to serve for Jeff Nygaard. NCAA championships coming up in early May, crosstown at Pauley Pavilion. Connolly, perfect execution. Connolly again with the dig. Boy, that's a tough chance. Smart shot to recycle the point. Bruins going to earn a free ball out of it. Good run by Connolly. Chris Connolly, the libero for UCLA, like a young Rich Lamborn. 2008 was just a few years ago.
Just a few years ago, a few pounds ago. Yeah, I don't love, if we go all the way back to the beginning of that play, I don't love float serving Connolly, who's just dying.
No.
I'm not sure what we're doing with that.
Here's Kelly. Perfect pass by Dykstra. Good response by the Trojans. Still plenty of time to get back into this 5th and decisive tiebreaker. Played to 15.
They would like to start chipping away, though. I agree with you. There's time, but you don't like to see a 4-point deficit when one team's on double digits.
Well, the chip starts with 1.
That's right.
Every streak begins with the first one. Oh, ball served out of bounds. Trent Taliaferro comes on once again wearing #9. He has been the serving specialist. 6'5" sophomore. Son of a very proud father, Brandon Taliaferro, the all-time leader in assists for the UCLA Bruins, which is saying an awful lot.
Yeah, he's awesome volleyball player. Better dude.
Bruins. Cam Thorne off the defense, and the score for UCLA. Timeout, USC.
Kind of like we discussed, here's a look at that great put away from Thorne to finish it off, but SC just a little bit tenuous on their side of the net, adding some unforced errors.
4 kills here in the 5th set, and basically one-on-one against the back row quick combination to close out set number 4. So Cam Thorne, the 6'4" senior out of Hollywood, Florida, the transfer from Grand Canyon, first-team All-American last year, and making some big plays. Yeah, he's answering the call.
Yeah, he's just hanging up the phone on the Trojans there, I guess.
A big lead, and harkening back to the conversation with John Hawks about how much they have been challenged so far on the year. A reverse sweep win at Long Beach State, that's certainly no easy task. Long Beach sells out the pyramid on a regular basis. That's a really good win. And then 3-2 again at UC Irvine. Coach Hawks talking about how good Ball State was the beginning of the year. Gave up a set there. And now 11-6 is the advantage for Andrew Rowan and the #1 ranked UCLA Bruins. These two teams will go at it again on Friday night. That's coming up on Big Ten Plus. And then UCLA will go to Hawaii to take on the Rainbow Warriors coming up next week. Dylan Klein.
I think he got gum on his shoe. I'm not sure where that came.
That's what I thought it was, but I mean, the Bruins were over here. Maybe they were. Well, but they've taken care of it. Klein is ready to go. He's had a big night. 25 kills on 47 swings.
Yeah, I think that's where he started this set, though. So he's been pretty quiet here in the 5th.
Good serve off the bench by Talafiero. Combination. That ball was in. Wonderful execution on the back row quick. We're going to have another challenge.
It's a new career high.
Yeah,
for Kelly, if this
stands, that'll be kill number 20, a new career high. We will not have a challenge.
Yeah, that was clearly in, I think.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was close. Talaferro. Wow, missed out of bounds. All UCLA Bruins in the tiebreaker, 2 points away.
Yeah, it's fascinating how this tends to happen. A tightly contested battle sometimes can derail in the 5th. I love it from Talaferro that he just kept that ball in, kind of sensing the momentum going their way, not needing the big ace, just keeping the pressure on the Trojans.
Roll out of the middle. Not going away quietly, Tompkinson. You look at the set scores, 25-21, it was all USC to start, then deuce, then 25-22, and then in extra points, 28-26. But this one has gotten away from USC. All credit to the Bruins. Staying in there. And the star for them, Sean Kelly and Andrew Rowan at the setting position. 58 assists, UCLA hitting 303, USC at 268 so far on the match. I have a feeling, well, I know these two teams are playing again on Friday, but they might see one another in the MPSF playoffs and in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's interesting to have to face this same opponent so quickly. Gives you very little time to make adjustments. It'll be very interesting.
Both members of the same conference, Mountain Pacific Sports Federation. But they will play on Friday at Pauley Pavilion. Sterling Foley was number 12 to start the match, but we're guessing that there was some blood, and so all precautions still in effect, so he's moved over to number 3. Got to take a chance. I mean, down by this much, and now a handful and then some of match points. Remember I mentioned Andrew Rowan, first server for UCLA?
Yep.
He has gotten back to the line twice in this 5th set, even though it's to 15. Rowan already with 2 aces on the night. He was going for it.
Yeah, there was no doubt he was going to empty the chamber.
Yep, yeah, he did. Nothing left. Well, he served up an ace, as I recall, at match point against a very good team from Ohio State. Match point number 2. Cam Thorne, not yet.
I like feeding him, though. He's kind of been your spark plug in this 5th.
We had that graphic that our outstanding crew put together after blocking set point to win it 28-26. Cam Thorne had 4 kills, and Wes Smith again.
That was a tremendous look at that blocking move.
Another match point. Sean Kelly, a new career high, 21 kills. And USC, what will they take out of this? Other than the 5th set, they pushed the #1 ranked team in the country right to the wire, and they had 2 match points of their own in set number 4 before dropping that 28-26. And Cam Thorne and the rest of the UCLA Bruins come out on top in the 5th set, remain perfect in 5-set matches, also winning at Long Beach and at UC Irvine, and they win this one 15-9 in the 5th. Boy, really, really good match. The Bruins hit 583 in the 5th set. Sean Kelly, as we mentioned, had 21 kills. Rama with 15. Cam Thorne, after a slow start, 11. David Deckard had 11. On the other side, Dylan Klein, 25. But after that, it drops way off. Wes Smith, really like what he did at both ends. He had 11. Noah Roberts with 9. Parker Tompkinson with 7. So UCLA closes it out in the 5th set, 15-9. We'll be back with more from USC after this short timeout. The Bruins stay perfect